Before you begin this video, pause. Breathe. This isn't just another message, it's a moment chosen for you. In the middle of everything swirling around you, there is a voice that has never stopped speaking. A voice that doesn't demand your perfection, but invites your presence. This is not about religion. This is about relationship. About hearing the one who formed you, loves you, and is calling you by name right now. Let your heart lean in. Let your soul settle. The words you're about to hear aren't just encouragement. They're a divine conversation. A whisper from heaven, spoken straight to you.
Before you take another step, before you let your thoughts wander into the corners of worry and the noise of the world, listen. Listen with more than your ears. Let your heart lean in. This moment is not a coincidence. It's not an interruption. It's a divine appointment. I've been waiting for this very instant to whisper something sacred to your soul. Something that the storms around you have tried to drown out. But now that you've arrived here, now that you're listening, I will speak what your heart has longed to hear. I am with you. I have always been with you, and I am not leaving. You may not always feel me, but I'm there in the quiet ache, in the uncertain pause, in the breath you just took. I see how deeply you've been trying to hold it together, how often you offer a smile when your heart feels fractured. But I want you to know, you don't need to perform for me. You don't need to pretend. Come as you are, beloved. I see you not as the world sees, not even as you see yourself. I see every layer, every fear behind the brave face, every question you were afraid to ask, every dream you shelved because someone once told you it was too much. And I love you still, fully, fiercely, without hesitation. Let my words settle into the soil of your being. Let them break through the stones of shame, guilt, and weariness. Let them do what only truth can, set you free. For you were never meant to walk through this life in chains. I crafted you with purpose, not perfection. Your weakness doesn't scare me. Your past doesn't disqualify you. In fact, it's often in your most fragile places that my strength shines brightest. I am not looking for flawless performances. I'm longing for honest hearts. So take off the mask of "I'm fine." Set it down. You don't need it here. Let yourself breathe in the safety of my presence. Even when the world is chaotic, when your future feels uncertain and your prayers seem unanswered, I remain the same, steady, faithful, close. My voice may not always thunder, but it always speaks. And right now, I'm whispering this into your spirit. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. Do you know how deeply you move me? Not because of your accomplishments, not because of your strength, but because you are mine. Before you ever took your first breath, I knew you. I imagined the sound of your laughter, the glint in your eyes, the rhythm of your heartbeat. I placed dreams in your soul like seeds, knowing that one day, when the time was right, they would bloom. And even when those dreams have wilted from disappointment or silence, I am still the gardener. I know how to breathe life back into what you thought was dead. You don't have to find your way alone. My presence is not reserved for cathedrals or perfect prayers. It is here, right now, tangible, healing, alive. It goes before you to prepare the road. It walks beside you through every valley. And when you grow too weary to move, my presence lifts you, carries you, holds you until you can breathe again. That is how close I am. That is how much I care. Stop measuring yourself by the standards of others. Stop believing that your worth is tied to your performance or perfection. You are valuable because I created you. You are precious because I chose you. And I chose you knowing everything you would go through, the moments of doubt, the seasons of silence, the scars you would carry. And I still said yes. I still said, this one is mine. You've been searching for clarity, haven't you? Wondering why certain doors closed, why some prayers seemed to go unanswered, why the path turned in a direction you never expected. Let me show you something. Not every no was a rejection. Some were protections. Some were redirections. Some were preparations. You see the moment. I see the whole story, and I am not finished writing it. The chapter you are in is not the conclusion, it's the turning point. It's the place where everything starts to shift, even if you can't yet feel it. Trust me. Trust me not because it's easy, but because I am good. trust me even when the answer hasn't come. Trust me when it seems like everyone else is moving forward and you're standing still. My timeline is different than yours, but it's not late. I have not forgotten you. The delay is not a denial. It's the soil where deeper faith is formed, where roots grow strong enough to hold the weight of the blessing I'm preparing. Lift your eyes. Look beyond the storm, beyond the opinion of others, beyond the weariness that whispers, "Give up. There is more. There is always more in me. A deeper peace, a stronger joy, a radiant hope that doesn't waver with the winds of circumstance. Let me lead you there. Let me show you what you haven't dared to dream. Let me walk you through the places you feared to go, not to expose your weakness, but to reveal my strength. You are not here by accident. You are here by invitation. I called you, and you heard me even through the noise. So now stay a while. Stay with me. Let this be the beginning of something sacred, something lasting. I'm not just offering comfort. I'm offering transformation. I'm not just promising peace. I'm pouring it out. My presence will go with you, not just today, but always. Through every moment, every tear, every triumph. I go with you, and this is only the beginning. You've been carrying questions that weigh more than your body can hold. I've seen you lying awake at night, staring into the dark not because you're afraid of it, but because you've been trying to find your way through it. I see how your heart searches for meaning in the middle of silence, how your soul strains to hear my voice even when the noise around you never stops. And still you stayed. Still you listened. That is what pleases me most. Not perfection, but persistence. You've sought me even when you couldn't feel me, and that is where the deepest miracles are born. I am here to remind you, faith is not the absence of struggle. It is the anchor that holds when everything else drifts. You are stronger than you think, not because of your own might, but because I am strengthening you from within. When others walked away, I remained. When your own thoughts turned against you, my truth never did. And even now, while you face situations you never imagined, I'm planting something eternal inside of you. You are growing even when you feel stuck. You are changing even when the reflection in the mirror looks tired. The fire you've been walking through isn't here to destroy you. It's refining you. What's being burned away wasn't part of your future. It was part of the weight you were never meant to carry into the next season. Do you not know that I rejoice over you with singing? That I cover you with my wings? You are not just surviving, you are being shaped into someone radiant with purpose. I know you've questioned why certain blessings seem delayed. You've looked around and seen others rising while you've been kneeling. But what you don't see is this. Those moments on your knees are where eternity touches earth. That's where you found me. That's where your roots are going deeper. And soon, those roots will birth fruit that lasts. Not the shallow victories that fade, but joy that no storm can shake. Let me prepare your heart for what's coming, for it's more than you've asked for. But before I give it, I'm shaping you to hold it. I'm forming the inner strength you'll need to walk in the blessing without it breaking you. Many want the miracle, but few prepare for its weight. I love you too much to let success crush you, so I'm building the foundation first. Every trial has a purpose. Every delay is intentional. I am not random with your life. Nothing is wasted. Not the tears, not the waiting, not the heartbreaks you've quietly endured. I gather every cry, every whisper of prayer, and I turn them into promises fulfilled at the right time. And oh, my timing, it will astound you. I'm not delaying to frustrate you. I'm orchestrating something far beyond what your current moment can comprehend. I'm placing you in alignment with the right people, opening the right doors, closing the ones that only led to pain, and setting the stage for breakthroughs that will leave no doubt. I was always working for your good, so take a breath. You don't have to prove yourself to me. You don't have to convince me to stay. I already chose you, not when you had it all together, but in your mess, in your fear, in your wandering. I've never asked you to earn my love. I've simply asked you to receive it. You've been trying so hard to be strong for everyone else, but what I want most is for you to collapse into me, to rest not because you've done enough, but because I am enough. I want to teach you how to trust again, how to dream again, how to hope without fearing disappointment. Yes, I know you've been hurt. People who were supposed to protect you abandoned you. Words meant to heal turned into wounds. Promises were made and never kept. But I am not like them. My word does not return empty. I never speak lightly. When I say I will be with you, I mean through everything. Through seasons of drought and abundance. Through grief and celebration. Through questions and quiet. You are not disqualified. That's the lie the enemy keeps trying to whisper. That your mistakes are too great. That your past has disfigured your future. But I speak a better word. I speak redemption, restoration, renewal. What you see as scars, I see as stories, evidence that you survived what was meant to destroy you. And now I will use even that. Nothing is wasted in my hands. I will make beauty rise from ashes. I will turn sorrow into dancing. I will make the broken places strong again. So stand up, even if your knees still tremble. Speak life, even if your voice shakes. Love deeply, even if you've been betrayed. You are not defined by what you've lost, but by who you belong to. And you belong to me. Let that truth sink in deeper than the doubt. You are mine. Not temporarily, not conditionally. You are mine eternally. And there is no wilderness too vast, no darkness too thick, no battle too fierce to separate you from my hand. I've carved your name on my heart. I walk beside you not as a distant observer, but as a loving father, as a faithful friend, as the one who holds the map when the path disappears. You may not understand the road ahead, but you will understand me. You will know my character. You will see my goodness woven into every turn. The fog may not lift all at once, but as you walk with me, clarity will come. Step by step, moment by moment, I will teach you how to hear my voice, not the loudest sound, but the truest one, the one that always leads you home. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. I have a future for you that carries my fingerprints. It's written in grace, sealed in promise, and saturated with purpose. And this is just the beginning. So walk with me. Let my presence be your peace. Let my word be your guide. Let my love be your reason to keep going. I go with you not just as a shadow, but as your strength. You've been asking for change, longing for a shift, waiting for the day when the weight would lift and the fog would finally clear. You've prayed for doors to open, for signs to appear, for something to confirm that you are indeed on the right path. I heard every word. I saw every tear. But what I want you to understand now is this. Sometimes the answer doesn't arrive as a flash of lightning or a sudden breakthrough. Sometimes the answer is me, quiet, steady, present, walking with you through the middle of the mystery. You keep hoping for the road to get easier. But what if I told you I'm making you stronger? What if this difficulty you're facing is not a punishment, but a preparation? What if I'm teaching you to walk by faith and not by sight? Not because I want to test you, but because I want to trust you with more than you've ever carried before. You see only this chapter, but I see the entire story. I see how the nights of confusion will make way for mornings of clarity. I see how the burdens you've lifted in silence have built a resilience in you that nothing can steal. I know how hard it is to keep moving forward when the ground beneath you keeps shifting. But even then, especially then, I am your foundation. I do not change, and I will not let you fall. Let me speak into that hidden space in your soul, the one you rarely show, even to those closest to you. You've become skilled at smiling through pain, at staying composed when all you really want is to collapse. But you don't have to be strong all the time. I am your strength. I am the one who holds you up when your own heart is trembling. When the thoughts become too loud and the expectations too heavy, come to me. You were never meant to carry all of this alone. I know how weary you are, not just physically, but spiritually. You've poured yourself out for others, and now you wonder if there's anything left. You've loved deeply and lost, trusted and been hurt, believed and been disappointed. And still you're here, still believing, still trying. That faith, the one that continues even when it feels fragile, is what moves my heart. That is what I bless. You've asked me, why do I feel like I'm standing still while the world moves on? Let me answer with gentleness. You are not standing still. You are being rooted. You are being grounded in something deeper than success, deeper than applause, deeper than the need for validation. I'm anchoring you in truth, in love, in purpose. So when the winds come, and they will, you won't be blown away. You will remain. My child, hear this. I am not wasting your time. I am refining your vision. I am deepening your capacity to recognize me in every season, not just the ones that feel easy. I am teaching you to see me in the mundane and the miraculous, in the silence and the song. You've learned to hear my whisper through the noise of doubt, and that is something the world can't take from you. I know how hard you've worked, how much you've hoped, how often you've sacrificed. And no, it has not gone unnoticed. Nothing you've done in love is ever wasted. Every kind word, every silent prayer, every small act of faith, they are seeds, and I am the one who makes them grow. You may not see the fruit yet, but I promise it is coming. In ways you didn't expect, in places you didn't anticipate, through people you didn't imagine. Don't rush this process. I know you're eager for answers, but answers without understanding can become burdens. I'm not just answering your prayers, I'm forming your character. I'm aligning your heart with heaven so that when the answer does come, you'll be ready to carry it with grace. I care more about who you are becoming than how quickly you arrive. And you are becoming someone radiant, someone resilient, someone whose faith will not be shaken. Let me remind you, you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Even the detours were part of the design. Even the delays were woven into your destiny. I use all things, not just the beautiful, but also the broken. And I use them for your good. If only you could see what I see when I look at you. You'd stop comparing yourself to others. You'd stop measuring your worth by how productive you are or how much progress you can show. I see your heart. I see the moments you choose kindness when it's easier to be cold. I see the times you forgive when it hurts. I see how you still lift your hands to worship even when your heart is heavy. And I say, well done. You are growing in ways that matter most. So be still, not in fear, but in confidence. Rest, not in resignation, but in trust. The wind is coming, and with it, a new wave of grace. I am not preparing a temporary fix. I am building something eternal, something lasting. You may not feel it yet, but you are being shaped for glory. The days ahead are not empty. They are full of promise, full of possibility, full of my presence. I go before you not to merely clear the path, but to light it. You won't have to guess where to go next. I will show you. When it's time to move, I'll stir your spirit. When it's time to wait, I'll cover you with peace. You won't be confused, you'll be comforted. You won't be aimless, you'll be guided. My child, lift your head. Your story is not over. Your purpose is not paused. What I began in you, I will finish. Not in your strength, but in mine. Not by your striving, but by your surrender. I am your portion. I am your promise. I am your peace. And I am not going anywhere. I see how you struggle to believe that joy could really return to your life. You've lived in a constant state of survival for so long. You've forgotten what it feels like to breathe without fear, to rest without guilt, to dream without hesitation. But I'm here to remind you that joy is not a reward reserved for the few who have perfect lives. It is a gift I give freely to those who come to me. And that includes you, especially you. You've been running on empty, trying to make sense of it all. How you ended up in this place, why certain people left, how you got so far from the hope you once carried. But I want you to know you're not off course. Even your wilderness is within my view. The detours, the unexpected changes, even the heartbreaks, they're not proof that you've failed. They are evidence that I'm leading you through terrain you didn't expect to grow in, because I knew you could. Not in your own strength, but in mine. Yes, there is pain in becoming, but there is purpose in it too. You are not merely wandering, you are being refined. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Your identity is not rooted in your past, not in your titles or accomplishments, not in what others say about you. Your identity is rooted in me, in the unshakable truth that you are my beloved. And no one, not even your darkest thought or loudest fear, can take that away from you. So why do you hesitate to believe me when I tell you that better days are ahead? Why does your heart question what your spirit knows to be true? The enemy has whispered too long, and too convincingly, that your future will look like your past. But his voice is not truth. His lies are not your destiny. I've already rewritten your ending. The moment you said yes to me, the moment your soul reached for mine in quiet desperation, I began building a future that far surpasses what you lost. You haven't missed your moment. You haven't run out of chances. The mistakes you made did not cancel my mercy. They cannot erase what I have planned. You see broken pieces, I see a vessel being made new. You see delays, I see divine appointments. You see closed doors, I see protection from things you didn't even know would have harmed you. And I am asking you to trust me with the unseen, to rest in the knowledge that nothing escapes my vision. When you feel too weak to continue, remember, I don't require strength from you. I give strength to you. I give it to the humble, the tired, the overlooked, the weary, the ones who fall and get back up again. Not because they're confident in themselves, but because they believe in me. You don't have to impress me. You don't have to win my approval. You already have it. You've had it since the beginning. My love doesn't fluctuate with your emotions. It doesn't diminish when you question or falter. I'm not holding back waiting for you to get everything right. My love is not a transaction. It is a covenant. I chose you. I chose to be faithful to you, even on the days you're faithless. Even on the days you ignore my voice. I keep whispering. Even when you feel numb, I'm drawing close. And when you can't find the words to pray, your sigh is enough for me. I understand the language of silence. I read every unshed tear like a poem etched in the heavens. You've wondered if this pain will ever pass, if the heaviness will ever lift. The answer is yes. Not only will it pass, I will use it. I will transform the ache into empathy. I will turn what tried to break you into the very thing that builds others. That's how I work. I take what the enemy meant for harm and weave it into healing. I use weakness as a doorway to my power. I use delay to sharpen your discernment. I use disappointment to teach you to hope not in circumstances but in me. I want you to see what I see in you. Not the scars, but the strength. Not the failures, but the fire that's still burning. Not the wounds, but the wonder. You are stronger now than you've ever been, even if you don't feel it. Every step you take through this darkness becomes a testimony of light, and that testimony will become a beacon to others who are still wandering. My child, don't think you've been forgotten just because the world doesn't applaud your journey. Heaven watches every step. Angels surround you. My spirit dwells within you, and every time you choose to believe, even when belief is hard, something shifts. In the spiritual realm, mountains begin to move, chains begin to break, and you, little by little, become more like me. I'm teaching you how to walk in authority, not authority rooted in pride or performance, but in love and truth. You were created to walk boldly, not with arrogance, but with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you belong to. You're not powerless. You're not without direction. I've already placed a compass in your spirit. It's called my word. And when you let it lead, you will always find the way. I know the nights can still be long. I know the noise of doubt still echoes. But this is the hour where everything starts to change. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. Not in the spotlight, but in the secret place. I am shifting things in your heart. I am stirring up dreams you thought had died. I am awakening courage where fear once lived. And soon you'll begin to feel it. A lightness, a joy, a clarity that has nothing to do with circumstances and everything to do with me. Keep going. Keep trusting. Keep bringing your questions to me. I won't turn you away. I am not tired of your tears. I'm not annoyed by your fears. I am a patient father, a gentle redeemer, and an eternal friend. My timing is perfect. My plans are good. And my presence is never absent. This isn't the end. It's the unfolding. And the beauty yet to come will eclipse every shadow you've ever walked through. Just stay close. Keep your eyes on me. For what I'm about to do in you will be greater than anything you've ever seen before. You've been walking for so long trying to carry burdens that were never meant to be yours. The pressure to succeed, the fear of falling short, the unspoken belief that you must earn what I already gave freely. But I want you to hear me now. Not through the voice of your past, not through the opinions of the world, but through the certainty of my love. You do not need to prove your worth. You were chosen before you had done anything to deserve it. Loved before your name was known, and you still are. There is a world inside you that even you have not fully explored. Dreams that have been buried beneath layers of disappointment. Strength that has never been tested because you were too afraid to fail. But I placed those dreams there. I planted them not to torment you, but to lead you, to call you into more than a routine life. I'm not asking you to be reckless. I'm asking you to be bold, to believe again, to rise again, to step into the promise that fear has tried to shut out. You were not born to live small. You were not created to hide behind excuses or be paralyzed by comparisons. I did not design you to imitate someone else's journey. I formed you with a purpose too distinct to be copied. So stop looking at others and wondering why their blessing came faster, or why their path seems clearer. You don't know what they're carrying, and they don't know what I'm preparing in you. What's ahead for you requires your full attention, not fragments distracted by envy or insecurity. Your blessing is not late. It's just layered in deeper foundations. You don't need to rush. I know that's hard to hear in a world that worships speed, but I am not interested in fast growth that burns out in a season. I am building something lasting in you, unshakable joy, enduring strength, wisdom that only comes through walking with me through valleys. And yes, there will be moments that test you, moments when the silence feels like absence, when the waiting feels like punishment. But hear me, I never left, not once. Even when your faith was low, even when your voice was quiet, I remained, because my commitment to you doesn't depend on your consistency. It depends on my nature, and I am faithful. Let me tell you what you're becoming. You're becoming someone who no longer bends at the first sign of opposition. Someone who doesn't retreat at the sound of criticism. Someone who sees clearly, who sees through deception and walks in truth. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It's a gift. It means you hear me. It means your heart is still soft enough to respond to my voice. In a world that grows cold and hard, that is a holy thing. Don't lose it. I know you've cried in secret, wondering if your efforts matter. They do. I know you've poured yourself into things that seem to crumble. I saw it. And I promise you, nothing given in love is ever lost. I will redeem every act of obedience. Every kind word spoken when no one applauded. Every prayer whispered in exhaustion. I store them all like treasure, and I repay in ways beyond what you imagine. You've been asking for answers, but what if the greater gift is wisdom? What if instead of giving you the solution today, I'm preparing you to carry answers that will guide others tomorrow? This isn't just about you. I'm building a legacy. Generations will walk a smoother road because you didn't give up. Because you chose to believe when everything in you said run. So believe me now when I say this, your story is sacred. It is not defined by what you've lost, nor tainted by who walked away. It is not stained by your lowest moments, nor limited by your weaknesses. I write in grace, and I don't use erasers. What I begin, I finish. What I bless, no one can curse. And I have called you blessed. Let others talk. Let them doubt. Let the world mislabel you. Their words hold no weight in my kingdom. My words are final. And I say, you are mine. You are chosen. You are radiant with purpose. No voice of criticism can drown out what I declare over your life. No shadow of shame can undo the light I've placed in you. I don't want your perfection. I want your yes. I don't need you to have it all figured out. I just need you to keep walking. You don't have to see the whole road to trust the one who leads it. I will give you enough light for the next step. That is faith. That is relationship. You're not following a map. You're following me. Let me remind you of something eternal. My plans are not fragile. They don't shatter when you feel unsure. They don't evaporate when others walk away. They don't expire because of your age, your failures, or your fears. I account for it all. And still I say you are on time. I'm preparing things for you that you've been too afraid to pray for out loud. I know what you need before you speak it, but I still love when you come to me, not because I'm unaware, but because I desire your heart. I don't just want to fix things for you. I want to walk through them with you. I want you to know what intimacy with me feels like. Not just reverence, but relationship. Not just worship from afar, but conversation in the quiet. When you begin to see me not as a distant force, but as your closest friend, your whole life will shift. You'll no longer serve out of fear, but out of love. You'll no longer pray because you should, but because you can't help but speak to the one who knows you best. And in that space, you'll discover who you really are. The identity I give you cannot be shaken. It's not based on what you do. It's based on who you belong to. And you belong to me. You've been searching for your place in the world. But child, your place has always been here with me. And I'm not sending you away. I'm sending you forward. The journey ahead is bright. The path is narrow, but it is full of peace. And the one who walks with you, me, I will never leave. There's a moment coming when all the things that once terrified you will lose their power. You won't even remember why you feared them in the first place. Not because they disappeared, but because I will have made you stronger than what once paralyzed you. You see, when you walk with me long enough, fear loses its voice. Its threats become whispers. Its shadows fade in the brilliance of truth. And the truth is this: I am with you, and I do not abandon my children. I'm not asking you to pretend that everything is fine. I see the real questions hidden behind your practiced prayers. I see the uncertainty behind your brave smiles. I know how loud the silence can be when you're waiting for a breakthrough. But even in that silence, I am speaking. Even when you feel like you're walking through a valley alone, my presence surrounds you. I am the one who never steps away, not even for a second. You've believed for so long that strength means pushing through without weakness. But my strength begins where yours ends. Let your limits bring you to me. Let your exhaustion lead you to rest in me. You weren't created to carry everything. You were created to trust, to lean, to come close, not when you're perfect, but when you're honest. When you say, God, I can't do this without you, that's not failure, that's faith. I want to teach you how to walk in freedom, not just from sin, but from shame, from the pressure to perform, from the lie that says you have to earn love that was already given to you long ago on a hill where my son bore your name. That cross wasn't just a symbol of sacrifice. It was a declaration, a statement that says, you are worth dying for. You are not too far gone. You are not a lost cause. You are worth redeeming, worth restoring, worth rejoicing over. Don't let your past define your present. Don't let an old chapter speak louder than the new one I'm writing. Yes, there were moments you strayed. There were nights you doubted me. There were days you walked away thinking I would stop loving you. But I never did. I waited. I watched. I whispered. And now you're hearing me again, not because I came back, but because you turned your heart in my direction. And suddenly, my voice became clear again. This is how restoration begins, not with loud declarations, but with quiet returns. Not with proving yourself, but with opening your heart again. You don't need to come running. Just take one step, and I will meet you there always, every time. That's my promise. The enemy will keep trying to remind you of who you used to be, but I remind you of who you truly are. You are my child, not just by creation, but by adoption. I didn't just make you, I claimed you. I didn't just form your body, I breathed life into your soul. That breath still lives inside you. That breath is my spirit, and it is not weak, not timid, not anxious. It is bold, courageous, full of fire and wisdom and peace. You've spent enough time shrinking back, enough time questioning your value. It's time to stand up, not in arrogance, but in authority, not in pride, but in purpose. I have called you to rise, to take up space, to speak truth in a world drowning in noise, to carry light into places others avoid. You were born for this not because you're flawless, but because you are filled with my presence, filled with my word, filled with my promise. Do not let the circumstances around you dictate the conviction within you. Faith isn't proven when everything is going right. It's proven when nothing looks like the promise, but you trust anyway. When you keep praying, even though the answer hasn't come. When you keep walking, even when your feet are tired. when you keep praising, even when your heart aches. That kind of faith makes heaven lean in. Let me tell you something about the future. It's not fragile. It's not hanging in the balance, waiting for you to be perfect. It is held firmly in my hand, and my hand does not tremble. I know the road ahead. I know the people you'll meet, the opportunities you'll encounter, the battles you'll face. And I have gone before you. Nothing surprises me. Nothing catches me off guard. That means you can walk into tomorrow without fear. Even when storms rise, remember this. You're not alone in the boat. I am with you. I speak peace to winds. I walk on waves. And when you begin to sink, I reach out. Every time. I don't scold, I rescue. I don't condemn, I restore. So when fear comes knocking, answer with truth. When anxiety comes crashing in, lift your hands and worship. Let praise become your weapon. Let worship become your shield. You don't have to understand everything to trust me. In fact, trust is strongest when understanding is weakest. You are learning to walk by faith, not because I've hidden things from you, but because I want to reveal things to you in their time. I know what you're not ready for yet. I also know what you're more ready for than you realize. And I will bring both to you in the season that's right. No sooner.
No later.
You don't need to rush. You don't need to panic. The world may be obsessed with speed, but I'm concerned with depth. And you, my child, are going deeper. You're being rooted in a faith that will outlast every storm. You're being trained not for applause, but for impact. And soon, the very things that try to take you out will become the testimony that raises others up. Let the world see what I can do with someone who refuses to give up. Let them see what transformation looks like when it's touched by eternity. You are that story. You are that miracle. You are that light. Don't hide anymore. Shine. Not for your glory, but for mine. You've spent so much time thinking about who you used to be, rehearsing old failures, reliving past regrets, wondering if somehow they've disqualified you from the life I've called you to. But I did not choose you because of what you've done. I chose you because of who I created you to be. My calling was never based on your resume. It was written before time began, etched into the blueprint of your soul. And nothing you've done, nothing anyone has done to you, can erase what I have spoken. I want you to stop measuring your life by what didn't happen. Stop replaying the moments where it fell apart, where they walked away, where your heart shattered quietly behind closed doors. Yes, those moments shaped you, but they do not define you. They are part of your story, but they are not the ending. I am the author, and I'm not finished writing. Lift your eyes. The pages ahead are still blank, waiting for your courage to say yes again. Say yes to joy. Say yes to healing. Say yes to dreaming. I know it's scary to hope again when you've been disappointed so often, but hope in me is never wasted. I do not tease or trick. I do not lift you only to let you fall. I raise you because I've already prepared where you're going, and I will not let you arrive empty-handed. The blessing I'm bringing won't look like compensation for your pain. It will look like resurrection. It will be so full of life, so filled with glory, that your past sorrow will lose its hold on your memory. I'm not giving you a copy of what you lost. I'm giving you something entirely new. A new beginning, a new identity, a new strength that doesn't depend on circumstances but flows from my spirit within you. There is more inside you than you know. Gifts that haven't yet awakened. Courage you haven't yet accessed. I've placed all of it in you not to impress the world, but to bless it. You were not made to just get by, you were made to carry heaven into the earth. You are my representative, my light bearer, my living temple. I walk with you not just to comfort you, but to empower you. You were never meant to be silent in a noisy world. You were never meant to shrink in the face of darkness. Don't wait until you feel ready. You may never feel ready in the way the world defines it, but I have already called you equipped. My spirit in you is enough. You don't need another confirmation. You don't need everyone's approval. You already have mine. You've been asking, God, am I really meant for more? And I say, yes, you are. Not in a way that puffs you up, but in a way that humbles you because you know what I've brought you through to get here. You've survived storms that should have drowned you. You've climbed out of pits that tried to bury you. You've breathed through nights when it hurt just to be alive. And yet here you are, not just alive but awakening. That's not weakness. That's not luck. That's my hand. That's my mercy. That's my promise still unfolding. And now it's time for the fear to fall off. The kind that says, what if I try and fail again? What if you try and fly? What if the thing you were so afraid of is the very doorway into destiny? What if this time you don't have to do it alone? Because you don't. I'm not just near, I'm within. Every step you take in obedience is a step we take together. I am raising you up, not to be impressive, but to be faithful. I'm not concerned with how many people notice. I'm concerned with how deeply you love, how courageously you obey, how freely you forgive. That's the kind of strength the world needs right now. Not loud religion, but quiet authority. Not empty performance, but holy authenticity. Don't let your wounds make you hard. Let them make you holy. Let them teach you to be gentle with others, to see people the way I do, not through their failures, but through their potential. I want to use your pain not just for healing, but for ministry. I want to turn the ashes into oil, the oil of gladness, poured out on others who are still sitting in mourning. You are becoming a healer, a voice of wisdom, a safe place for those who are afraid. You don't have to wear a title for it to be true. You just need to stay open, stay available, stay close to me. I will fill your mouth with words that break chains. I will fill your hands with grace that restores. You won't even have to try to be enough. You'll simply overflow from the deep well of my presence within you. And when you wake up tomorrow, even if nothing around you looks different, you'll feel the shift inside. You'll walk lighter. You'll speak clearer. You'll carry peace like a garment. And people will notice, not because you're loud, but because you're steady. Because even in the fire, you won't be burned. Because even in the storm, you'll keep singing. This is who you are. Not a victim of life, but a vessel of heaven. Not someone barely surviving, but someone rising, empowered by grace. You were not made to dwell in the shadow of regret. You were made to rise in the dawn of renewal. That dawn is here. That invitation is real. And I'm standing with you in it, arms wide open, heart full of joy. Let's begin again. Let's go further this time, together. There is a stirring in your soul you can no longer ignore. A sense that you were made for something more than merely existing, more than surviving one day just to brace yourself for the next. That stirring? It's me. It's the echo of my voice inside your spirit, awakening you again to the reason you were born. You were not made to live beneath your potential, to drift through life numbed by fear or routine. You were created for wonder, for purpose that breathes, sings, and multiplies life everywhere it goes. And I know you've waited a long time, longer than most people know. You've smiled while aching inside. You've encouraged others while quietly wondering when your time would come. You've prayed for miracles and watched others receive theirs while yours seemed delayed. But I want you to hear me clearly now. Nothing you've been through has been wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single delay. I am not indifferent to your longing. I am building you while you wait. I'm shaping your soul to carry glory without collapsing under its weight. The time you thought you lost was actually seed time. Roots were growing. Faith was being forged. And now, the first signs of harvest are beginning to break through the soil. You've been underground in seasons of silence. But that doesn't mean you've been forgotten. It means I was working deeply, quietly, faithfully. And now, what was hidden is about to be revealed. What was buried is about to bloom. Don't confuse my timing with my absence. I've never taken my eyes off you, even when you stopped praying for a while, even when your trust faded into frustration. I stayed. I held you together when you didn't realize you were coming undone. I surrounded you with mercy when shame tried to speak louder than truth. And now I'm calling you into a new day, not just a new season, but a new dimension of living. You're stepping out of survival and into significance. Not the kind that draws attention to self, but the kind that draws people to me through the peace you carry, the compassion you offer, the quiet strength that radiates from within. You don't need to strive for greatness. You just need to surrender to grace. I'll handle the rest. I'm not asking you to perform. I'm asking you to be present. Present in my presence. That's where everything begins. Let me remind you of something sacred. I have never rushed a masterpiece. And you, my child, are one. No matter how unfinished you feel, no matter how many pieces still seem scattered, I am forming something beautiful. Not in the spotlight, but in secret. Not in applause, but in intimacy. The world celebrates the seen. I bless the hidden. And when the time comes, what I've shaped in the quiet will shine with a light no man can extinguish. Stop apologizing for the process. Stop hiding the parts of your story you think are too messy or too broken. I use it all. Redemption is not me ignoring your wounds. It's me healing through them. Restoration is not just putting things back the way they were. It's making them better than they've ever been. I'm not just returning what was lost. I'm multiplying what is to come. But hear this, it's time to let go of your attachment to how things should have happened. It's time to surrender your obsession with the version of your life that never came to pass. I'm doing a new thing, and you won't be able to perceive it if your eyes are locked on the past. I know what you dreamed. I also know what I'm building, and what I'm building will exceed the best dream you ever dared to believe. You haven't missed it. Even when you feel behind, even when others seem ahead, even when you think you've made too many detours, I can reroute everything with one word. My grace is faster than your failure. My purpose is stronger than your wandering. You can't outrun me. I'll meet you at every mile marker with mercy, and I'll keep pointing you back toward joy. So breathe again. Look around. This is still holy ground. Your life is still filled with promise. Your family is still surrounded by my hand. The work I've begun is still unfolding, and yes, I will finish it. What feels slow to you is steady to me. What feels like silence is saturation. I'm soaking your life in unseen blessings, and soon the rain will come. And when it does, you'll understand why I took my time. Don't underestimate the power of consistency. The prayers you think are too small are building altars. The faith you offer when no one sees is making history in heaven. Keep showing up. Keep saying yes, even when you don't feel it. Especially then. That is where the greatest breakthroughs are born. Not in the moments that feel easy, but in the ones that cost you everything to believe. I'm proud of you. You need to hear that. I know it's not something you tell yourself often, but I see your heart. I see how far you've come. And I want you to know, I rejoice over you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're mine. You get back up when you fall. You keep trying when it's hard. You keep loving even when it hurts. And that is what delights me. That is what makes heaven celebrate. So keep going. Don't give up. Don't go back. Don't settle for a life smaller than what I've called you to. You are not here by accident. You are part of my divine strategy to bring light into the darkest places. And I've already equipped you. Everything you need, you have. Everything you lack, I will provide. Just walk with me. That's all I ask. I will guide. I will speak. I will provide. You don't have to do this alone. You never have, and you never will. You've been waiting for someone to give you permission to step into what's already yours. Waiting for a sign that says, it's safe now. You're ready. Go. So here it is. I, the Lord your God, say to you, go. Go with confidence. Go with peace. Go with boldness not born of ego, but born of identity. I am sending you not because you have it all figured out, but because I've placed my spirit inside of you, and he is enough. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They won't come. The wind will never stop entirely. The sea will never be fully still. But your steps are not determined by calm or chaos. They are guided by the quiet voice that says, this is the way. Walk in it. And that voice is mine. You've heard it before. You're hearing it again now. Deep down, you know it. It's the same whisper that's carried you this far. And I'm not going silent now. What you carry matters. The world doesn't need another imitation. It needs you whole, healed, and willing. It needs your story, your voice, your scars that have become sacred, the fire that hasn't burned you, but refined you, the wisdom that didn't come from books or platforms, but from walking through wilderness and not letting go of my hand. That's what makes you dangerous to darkness. Not your perfection, but your persistence. Not your polish, but your presence. You keep showing up, and that is power. You've let insecurity sit at your table for far too long. You've let the voices of comparison and fear act as if they own a place in your life. But today I say, evict them. Their time is over. You are not who they say you are. You are who I say you are, chosen, anointed, radiant with purpose. You are my ambassador, sent to bring light into dark places, sent to remind others that hope is still alive, sent to reflect my heart in a world that's forgotten what love really looks like. And I have not sent you empty-handed. I have clothed you in righteousness. I have armed you with truth. I have filled your mouth with wisdom and your heart with compassion. You don't need to be louder, you need to be anchored, rooted in my word, grounded in my love. And as you go, you'll realize something extraordinary. You are no longer chasing blessings. They're following you. Because where my spirit is, abundance flows. I want to make something clear. Your calling is not a burden. It's an honor. It's not a punishment. It's a privilege. I didn't give it to you because I needed you. I gave it because I wanted to partner with you. Because I delight in doing great things through ordinary people who simply say, yes. Your availability matters more to me than your ability. I'm not looking for perfect resumes. I'm looking for willing hearts. And you, yes, you are rising into that place. I see you letting go of the fear of failure. I see you releasing the lie that says, I'm not enough. And I smile, because I know that once you stop trying to impress others, you'll start impacting them. Once you stop hiding your wounds, I'll begin to use them to heal others. Once you stop waiting for everything to align, you'll realize I already aligned you with my purposes. I know the enemy has tried to convince you that your past disqualifies you. But I remind you, I use what's been crushed to feed multitudes. I use broken loaves. I use outcasts. I use the forgotten. I use the ones the world would never choose because my power is made perfect in weakness. Your scars are not your shame. They are your story. They are your sermon. They are my canvas. Let me paint glory over what others tried to erase. I don't call the confident, I make the called confident. Confidence that doesn't shout, but stands. That doesn't boast, but believes. You are stepping into a new rhythm, not of striving, but of flowing. You're moving from burnout into overflow. You're no longer doing life for me, you're doing life with me. This is what freedom looks like, not absence of struggle, but unshakable trust. So now lift your head, straighten your back. I have placed a mantle on your shoulders. Not heavy, not crushing, but holy. Carries joy, carries legacy, carries fire. The kind that spreads through kindness, through love, through bold truth spoken gently and faithfully. The kind that lights lamps in the dark and reminds wandering hearts that home is still open and grace is still available. Do not wait to feel qualified. Step into what I have qualified you for. Watch what happens when you obey, not because of certainty, but because of faith. Doors will open that you didn't knock on. Hearts will be moved by your quiet presence. The fruit you longed for will begin to grow where you simply planted kindness and kept watering it with prayer. The time is now. The place is here. And I am with you. You've spent so much of your life trying to prove yourself. To others, to yourself, even to me. But I never asked you to earn what I already gave. I didn't call you because of your performance. I called you because of my promise. You don't have to hustle for what's already yours. You don't have to fight for a seat at a table I built for you. Sit down, rest, breathe. This is your place, not because you fought for it, but because I fought for you. I see how tired you are, not just physically, but in the deepest parts of you. The part that wakes up exhausted even after a full night's sleep. The part that never feels quite enough. I know how hard you've worked to keep everything together. How many battles you've fought in silence. How many storms you've calmed for everyone else while your own soul trembled in the wind. But here, in this moment, I'm not asking you to hold it together. I'm asking you to hand it over. Let me hold you for once. Let me be the safe place you collapse into. You don't have to pray the perfect prayer. Just breathe. I'm here. And my presence is not demanding. It's healing. My voice is not harsh. It's home. My hands don't push you, they hold you. And I want to remind you, you are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are not a disappointment. You are a delight to me. I know the pace of the world tells you to move faster, produce more, never stop. But I created you to live differently. I created you to move in rhythms of grace, not pressure. To walk, not sprint. To flow, not strive. Your worth is not tied to your speed, your success, or your productivity. Your worth was sealed the day I formed you, and nothing can undo what I've declared over your life. So today, I want to do more than speak. I want to restore. Restore your joy. Restore your wonder. Restore your sense of safety in my presence. I want to bring back the parts of you that got lost when life got loud. The simplicity of believing, the beauty of stillness, the freedom of not needing to have all the answers. You are not a machine, I made you a soul, and your soul was made to rest in me. Do you know what makes me smile? Not your achievements, not your success, but your heart when it turns toward me in quiet surrender. When you whisper my name without trying to impress anyone. When you let the tears fall and finally stop trying to control everything. That's when my love rushes in, not because I was distant, but because you finally made space. And in that space, I will whisper things the world has tried to drown out. I will remind you who you are, not based on titles or labels, but based on truth. You are my beloved, my chosen, my masterpiece in progress. Not flawless, but fully loved. Not finished, but firmly mine. I am not impatient with your journey. I'm not waiting for you to get over it or move on. I'm walking with you, pace by pace, teaching you how to walk without anxiety and stand without fear. Some lessons take time, and I have all the time in the world for you. I've waited through your seasons of silence. I've sat beside you in your nights of confusion, and I never left. You've mistaken your stillness for stagnation, but I see it differently. I see roots going deeper. I see foundations being fortified. I see a soul being prepared for the kind of joy that doesn't collapse under pressure. The kind of peace that isn't stolen by headlines or moods. The kind of identity that doesn't change with public opinion. You think you need to be stronger. I say you need to be softer. Softer toward me. Softer toward yourself. The world has made you build walls you were never meant to carry. Let them fall. Let my voice be the loudest one you hear. Not the voice of your past. Not the echo of shame. Not the replay of failure. Listen instead to the voice that called you good before you ever performed. The voice that still calls you mine. And yes, I know the pain you carry. The loss you haven't spoken aloud. The guilt you pretend isn't there. But I know. I always knew. And I've never once turned away. Even at your lowest, I was right there. I still am. Not looking at you in disappointment, but with compassion. I never expected you to walk this life without stumbling. I just asked that when you fell, you'd reach for me. And you have. That's why you're still standing. That's why grace still flows. So let go of the questions that rob your peace. The why didn't it happen, and when will it change? Come back to the simplicity of trust. You don't need to know the timeline, you just need to know me. And I am still faithful, still sovereign, still working when nothing makes sense, still writing beauty into every broken line. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are not unheard. You are carried. You are held. You are cherished. And this life you're living is not over. It's just beginning. Let me lead you slowly, gently, kindly into everything I've prepared for you. Not with exhaustion, but with joy. Not with fear, but with freedom. I'm not in a hurry with your story. Don't be in a hurry to fix what I'm healing gently. There is a quiet strength rising in you now. Not the kind the world defines, not the noise of pride or the image of control, but the kind of strength that comes from being anchored in me. The kind that doesn't shout, but stands. The kind that doesn't demand to be seen, yet carries weight everywhere it goes. You may not feel different, but you are. Because every time you chose me over bitterness, every time you trusted me in silence, something eternal grew in you. That's the kind of transformation that can't be rushed, and it cannot be undone. I am not trying to make you stronger in the way the world expects. I am teaching you how to be still and know. I am teaching you to recognize that real power flows from peace, and real courage begins with surrender. You've fought long enough. You've tried to prove your worth for too many years. Let that be over now. You have nothing to prove. You have only to receive what I've already spoken over you. You are worthy, not because of what you've done, but because of who I am in you. This season of your life is not about running faster or doing more. It's about remembering who you are. You've worn so many labels: broken, behind, unimportant, too late, too much, not enough. But none of those came from me. I never called you that. I never reduced you to a title. I called you child. I called you beloved. I called you mine. And those words are not temporary. They are eternal. You've asked me to speak clearly. You've begged for signs. But what if I told you I've already been speaking, not just in moments of revelation, but in the quiet rhythm of your days, in the sun rising again, in the way your breath returns each morning, in the fact that after everything you're still here, still standing, still seeking. That's not coincidence. That's me. That's grace. And now I want to shift your perspective. I want to show you how heaven sees you, not as someone barely surviving, but as someone seated in heavenly places. Not as someone who's always falling short, but as someone clothed in righteousness. Not as someone disqualified, but as someone called. I don't see you through the lens of your worst days. I see you through the lens of my son's victory. And through that lens, you shine. There are things I've placed inside of you, visions, dreams, callings, that are not dead. They are dormant, and I am awakening them. I am breathing over what has been still for too long. I am reigniting what life tried to smother. You thought it was over, but resurrection always looks like death before it breaks into life. And life is coming, not recycled, not familiar, but new, unfolding from the inside out. Don't despise the pace I've set for you. I know how much you long to arrive, to see the fulfillment, to hold what you've waited for. But do not confuse my patience with inaction. I'm not just leading you to the promise. I'm forming the kind of person who can carry it with wisdom and grace. What good is a blessing if you crumble beneath its weight? No, I'm building you with intention, with eternity in mind. And I won't rush what I'm doing just to meet your deadline. Let the pressure fall off you now. The pressure to fix everything, to know everything, to carry everyone. I didn't ask you to be perfect. I asked you to be present. I didn't call you to be a savior. I already fulfilled that role. Your job is not to control the outcome, but to stay faithful in the next step. And if you stumble, I will catch you. If you pause, I will wait. I am not measuring your worth by your pace. I am measuring your trust. You've grown more than you realize. The growth didn't always come with fanfare. It came in your quiet obedience, in your unseen yes, in the moments you said, God, I don't understand, but I'll follow you anyway. Those moments moved mountains in the unseen realm. They sent ripple effects through generations yet unborn. Don't underestimate what obedience looks like in heaven's eyes. There's more ahead, but not more to earn, just more to discover. More joy, more peace, more wisdom, and more of me. You're not walking toward me from a distance. You're walking with me step by step. And even if you can't feel me at every moment, I've never stopped walking. I've never stopped speaking. I've never stopped loving you. So stand up, not in your own strength, but in mine. Walk forward, not with anxiety, but with assurance. You are no longer a beggar at my door. You are a child inside my house. You are no longer outside looking in. You are seated at the table. I made room for you, not reluctantly, but joyfully. I wanted you here. I want you still. Let this truth settle into the deepest parts of you. You belong. You are not barely hanging on. You are being carried. You are not insignificant. You are chosen. You are not too much. You are enough because I am enough in you. This is your inheritance, not just someday in eternity, but today. Here, in this breath, in this moment. You don't have to wait for heaven to begin living like you're loved. You are loved now. You don't have to wait until everything feels right to know that you're walking in righteousness. You wear it like a robe, not because you earned it, but because I gave it. So come, keep walking, keep trusting, keep hoping. What's ahead is greater than you can imagine. Not because of your striving, but because of my steadfast love. And that love is never running out. There is more inside you than you've dared to believe. Not just potential purpose, not just passion, presence. My presence. You've spent enough time doubting your worth, enough time shrinking yourself to fit into the comfort zones of others, enough time second-guessing whether your voice matters. I didn't place my light in you for it to be hidden. I placed it there so that it would shine through every cracked place in your soul, so that others might see me and find their way home too. You've been playing small, not because you lack ability, but because fear convinced you that boldness was dangerous. But let me tell you the truth. You were never created to hide. I don't create children and call them into corners. I call them into clarity, into courage, into communion. The enemy has whispered long enough, telling you that you'll be rejected, misunderstood, or judged. But I am louder, and my voice says, arise, step into the light. You are covered, you are held, you are chosen for such a time as this. You've asked me, Lord, can you really use someone like me? And I say yes, not in spite of your history, but through it. Not by avoiding your weakness, but by shining through it. I don't use perfect vessels. I use surrendered ones. And your surrender has touched heaven more deeply than any public success ever could. I've watched you in the hidden places, choosing love when you could have chosen pride, choosing forgiveness when bitterness would have been easier, choosing me when the world offered louder options. That's what I bless. That's what I multiply. Let me ask you something. What if the parts of your story you're most ashamed of are the very parts I'm going to use to open prison doors for others? What if your healing becomes a map for someone else's freedom? That's how I work. I don't just restore, I rebuild. I don't just comfort, I commission. And you, my beloved, are stepping into a season of divine commissioning. This is not about stage lights. It's about soul light. Not about building platforms, but about building people. I'm calling you to carry me wherever you go, to let me speak through your silence, to let me love through your presence. You don't have to quote scripture to change a room. You just need to carry my heart. And you do. Even when you doubt it, even when you feel ordinary, even when you feel unqualified. I am there, filling every gap with grace. You've lived long enough trying to prove your identity. Now, I want you to live from your identity. You are a child of light, a citizen of heaven, a vessel of mercy. You don't need permission to be who I already said you are. You need only to believe it. Let go of the lie that humility means hiding. True humility is knowing who you are in me and living fully in that truth. Do not confuse boldness with pride. Pride puts self at the center. Boldness puts truth in motion. You're not rising to bring attention to yourself. You're rising to make room for others. You're rising because when you shine, it gives others permission to believe they can rise too. You are a light bearer in a generation stumbling through shadows. You are not a mistake. You are a miracle in motion. So many times you've asked me for revival, for awakening, for breakthrough. And now I'm asking you, will you be the beginning of it? Will you let it start in your own heart? In your daily steps, in your ordinary moments? That's where the supernatural begins, in surrender, not spectacle. In quiet trust, not loud performance. I don't need you to be impressive. I need you to be available. I need you to let me show you what I can do through someone who simply says yes. Even if that yes is trembling, even if it's whispered through tears, even if it feels uncertain. I can work with that. I delight in that. I built the universe out of nothing. Imagine what I can build from your willing heart. Don't let the weight of the world rob you of your wonder. I didn't create you to carry it all. I created you to walk with me one step at a time. When the noise gets loud, come back to the quiet. When you feel pulled in every direction, come back to stillness. I am not in the whirlwind. I am in the whisper. I am not in the pressure. I am in the peace. You keep asking for direction, but what if I'm trying to give you vision? Not just a map for your next move, but eyes to see the world the way I see it. People the way I see them. yourself the way I see you. I'm teaching you to walk not by sight, but by faith. Not by the path others take, but by the one I've carved just for you. And it's good. So good. You're not late. You're right on time. I've taken every detour, every delay, every dead end, and turned them into divine appointments. I am weaving a story so full of redemption that even your deepest regrets will bow before my grace. The places where you were once ashamed will become altars of celebration. The parts of you that once felt too broken will become places of breakthrough. So stand tall. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more light. And you, my child, are light in motion. Not because of your perfection, but because of my presence. I'm not asking you to be fearless. I'm asking you to walk with me through the fear. I'm not asking you to have all the answers. I'm asking you to trust the one who is the answer. And as you do, you will see, doors will open, chains will fall, eyes will be opened. And it won't be because you tried harder. It will be because you walked with me. You've asked me, will it always be this hard? You've wondered if peace is just a fleeting feeling or something you'll ever truly live in. But I want you to know, peace is not the absence of pressure. It is my presence in the middle of it. It is not something that waits for circumstances to align. It's something that anchors you when they don't. You don't need to wait for life to quiet down before you breathe deeply. Breathe now. I'm here. I've always been. I see how much you've carried. You've buried so many hopes beneath the weight of maybe it's not meant to be. You've convinced yourself that survival is enough, that dreaming again is too risky. But I didn't rescue you just to leave you in survival mode. I didn't call you to merely exist. I called you to live fully, abundantly, completely. And I am here right now to call that life out of you. Your heart wasn't made to stay numb. Your spirit wasn't designed to live behind caution tape. You weren't created to tiptoe through life afraid of being broken again. I made you to rise, to feel deeply, to love boldly, to risk again, not because outcomes are guaranteed, but because my goodness is. You can trust me even in uncertainty. You can trust me especially there. That's where faith becomes a fire that lights the way forward. I know what you've lost. I know what you've grieved silently. And I know how part of you feels guilty for still hoping. But don't bury that hope. Hope is holy. Hope is not foolish, it's prophetic. It sees beyond what eyes can't yet grasp and dares to believe that I'm still working, that I'm still good, that I still have plans for you that no one can cancel, that even when the dream looks dead, resurrection is my specialty. Yes, resurrection. Not just an event from long ago, but a reality I keep breathing into dry places. You thought it was over, but I never said that. The story isn't finished. The page hasn't turned for the last time. The ink hasn't dried. I am still writing. And if you could only see what I'm preparing, you'd understand why I didn't answer the way you expected. Some of my best gifts come wrapped in seasons of mystery. Some of my greatest breakthroughs are born in the places where you thought you had failed. You haven't failed me. Even in your doubt, I held your hand. Even in your silence, I leaned in. Even in your weakness, I surrounded you with strength. And now I'm raising you, not because you've earned it, but because I promised it. I lift the lowly. I crown the humble. I raise the weary. You don't need to climb the ladder. You just need to trust the arms that lift. You've seen me as your safety, but now I want you to see me as your strategy. I'm not just protecting you from harm. I'm positioning you for impact. I'm sending you into places that need the very light I've formed in you. I'm giving you eyes to see what others miss, ears to hear what hearts are silently crying for, and words that don't flatter but heal. And no, you don't have to get it perfect. There is room for mistakes in my grace. There is space to learn, space to stumble, space to begin again. What matters is not your precision, it's your posture. A heart that keeps returning, keeps listening, keeps saying, "Here I am, Lord," even when it doesn't feel ready. That kind of heart is a magnet for my glory. You are not the same person you were when this journey began. You are becoming more like me, and I am not finished. The old things that once had power over you are losing their grip. The chains you thought were part of your identity are now cracking under the sound of my truth. You are no longer a prisoner of pain. You are a carrier of promise. You are not a wounded soul barely getting by. You are a warrior learning how to walk in victory without losing your tenderness. Victory isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like choosing peace when revenge feels easier. Sometimes it's forgiving without apology. Sometimes it's showing up even when your heart is heavy. Sometimes it's praying again when the last prayer seemed unanswered. These are the victories that shift atmospheres. These are the winds that make hell tremble and heaven sing. You've fought quietly for so long, and I've seen every moment of it. Not one act of faith has gone unnoticed. Not one step of obedience was wasted. You've been building something holy with your consistency, and now the tide is turning. What you sowed in tears, you will reap in joy, not only in eternity, but here, in the land of the living. That's my promise. Lift your head, child. The weight you've carried is coming off. The confusion you've lived with is clearing. The fear you've tolerated is fleeing. My voice is rising louder in your spirit than any lie you've ever believed. And you are about to see just how faithful I've been behind the scenes. Just how closely I've held your name in my hand. Just how much I've been preparing for this very moment. So walk forward, not with hesitation, but with expectation. Not with fear, but with faith. I am not asking you to figure it all out. I'm asking you to follow me. And where I lead, I always provide. Where I guide, I always protect. Where I plant, I always cause growth. This is not the end. This is not the best it will ever be. This is the unfolding of all I've promised. You are not too far behind. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are right where I want you, and I am right here with you. Do you feel it? That stirring in your spirit, the subtle shift in the air around you. You can't explain it, but something inside you knows change is coming. Not the kind the world gives, fleeting and loud, but the kind that starts from within and spills out into every part of your life. You've prayed, you've waited, you've sown faithfully in dry places, and now heaven is leaning in. Now, the earth is responding to what I've already spoken over you. This is not a coincidence. It's not wishful thinking. It's the beginning of a divine unveiling. The seeds you planted in seasons of silence are breaking through the soil. Not all at once, not in a dramatic rush, but steadily, surely, quietly, just like I taught you, because I am a God who works in both whispers and wonders. You may not see the full picture yet, but you are standing in the middle of something sacred. What felt like wilderness was preparation. What seemed like delay was refinement. I never withheld my hand from you. I was strengthening yours. I wasn't just protecting your future. I was preparing your heart to carry it. And now I say to you, get ready. Not for survival, but for harvest. But this harvest won't just be about what you receive. It will be about who you become. I'm not only giving you blessings, I'm giving you capacity to hold more, to love deeper, to lead with humility, to speak with authority that isn't rooted in pride, but in presence. You've been asking me to enlarge your territory, and I am. But first, I enlarged your character, and now you are ready for what's next. You've learned to trust me when nothing made sense. You've praised when there was no visible progress. You've let me prune what was no longer fruitful, even when it hurt. And because of that, you will bear fruit that remains. Not the kind that fades when people forget, but the kind that echoes into eternity. You are not here to chase significance. You are here to carry glory. And that glory begins in the hidden places. Yes, the world celebrates noise, but I honor roots, and your roots go deep, deeper than discouragement, deeper than the lies that tried to wrap around your soul, deeper than the fear that tried to silence you. That's why the wind hasn't broken you. That's why the fire didn't consume you. You weren't just surviving, you were being established. And now the shift is accelerating. Doors are about to open, not because you pushed them, but because you waited. Favor is coming not as a reward for performance, but as a result of alignment. I am sending people into your life who carry what you need and who need what you carry. I'm orchestrating divine relationships, divine assignments, and divine timing. You've looked at others and said, "Why not me?" And I say now, it is your time. Not to copy, not to compete, but to create. To live in the freedom of being fully you. The version of you that knows I'm your source. That no longer asks for permission from the world to be radiant. That doesn't dim to make others comfortable. That doesn't retreat when resistance rises. You are being called into spaces your old self would have run from. You are being invited into conversations your silence once avoided. You are carrying answers to questions people haven't even asked yet. Why? Because you stayed. Because you kept showing up. Because you let me shape you when no one was watching. This next season is not about striving. It's about stewarding. You don't need to chase after what I've already placed in motion. You need only to respond. One step at a time. One yes after another. My plan is not fragile. It doesn't shatter when things don't go as you thought they would. I reroute. I redeem. I resurrect. I restore. So don't be surprised when things start shifting quickly. Don't panic when the pace picks up. You're not being rushed, you're being released. Into purpose. Into influence. Into clarity. Into fullness. And no, it's not too good to be true. It's exactly what I promised. This isn't just your breakthrough. It's your becoming. Let me remind you, breakthrough isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like waking up without dread. Sometimes it's the laughter you thought you'd lost. The idea that sparks when you stop overthinking. The peace that settles even when nothing's changed. Don't overlook the small signs. They are the fruit of deep obedience. You are walking into rooms prepared for you long before you arrived. You are stepping into prayers your ancestors whispered. You are living in the overflow of faithfulness, yours and mine. And everything you thought was falling apart was actually falling into place. Do you trust me? Then walk. Even when you don't feel qualified. Even when the path is new. I'll confirm every step with peace. I'll mark the road with grace. You'll know it's me because of the way your spirit will breathe easier, even when your flesh feels stretched. This is not pressure, it's promise. This is not chaos, it's calling. You've waited long enough. You've grown deep enough. And now the heavens are declaring. It is time. Time to move. Time to rise. Time to shine, not for glory, but for purpose. Not to impress, but to impact. I've brought you a long way. Through pain you thought would never end. Through nights that stretched longer than they should have. Through storms that soaked the soil of your soul until it felt too heavy to carry. And yet you're still here. Not because of your strength, but because of mine. Not because you never fell, but because I never let you stay down. And now, here you are, on the edge of a life you've only begun to imagine. The promise isn't far anymore. It's near. It's at the door. It's already opening. But before you take this next step, pause with me, just for a breath. Let me mark this moment with something holy. You've changed. You are no longer the person who began this journey. The fear has lost its grip. The shame has no voice left. The wounds have become wisdom. And your heart, oh, how your heart has softened and strengthened at the same time. What I see now is someone who's not afraid to hope again. Not afraid to trust me when the future still holds questions. Someone who knows they are loved, not because of what they do, but because of who I am. So hear me now. This is your commissioning. You are not walking into more chaos, you are walking into clarity. You are not walking into battle without armor, you are walking in authority. You are not entering a season of striving. You are entering a season of fulfillment. The kind of fulfillment that doesn't depend on applause, achievements, or answers, but the kind that flows like a river from knowing you're exactly where you're meant to be, because you are with me. You've waited, and now I'm releasing. You've trusted, and now I'm revealing. You've surrendered, and now I'm rebuilding. Not the same version of what was, but something entirely new. Something only heaven could design. Something no one can replicate because it was handcrafted just for you. A new path, a new rhythm, a new grace. You're going to walk into rooms and carry peace that changes the atmosphere. You're going to speak words that come not from opinion, but from overflow. You're going to dream with clarity, love without fear, give without exhaustion. Because now, finally, you are no longer drawing from your own strength. You're drawing from the endless well of my spirit within you. Let this be the moment you never forget. not because of how loud it feels, but because of how deep it goes. This is where eternity kisses earth. This is where you stop chasing and start becoming. You are not who the world said you were. You are not what your past tried to label you. You are who I say you are, mine. Holy, set apart, full of light. You are walking proof that my grace is real. There will still be hard days. There will still be questions. But now you know how to come to me, not as someone begging for permission to be loved, but as someone already seated in love. I am not a distant God. I am your Father. I am your friend. I am your Redeemer. And I will not walk away, not now, not ever. My love has no expiration. My plans are not fragile. My presence is not temporary. When you feel unsure again, and you will come back to this moment. When the road narrows, when the voice of doubt returns, when the fire of trials gets hot again, remember what I told you. I go with you. I don't just lead from ahead. I walk beside you. I carry what's too heavy. I silence what lies. I remain when all else fades. So step forward, not in fear, but in fullness. You are not entering this next season hoping to survive. You are entering to multiply, to pour out, to radiate glory. Your life is not just your own anymore. It's a vessel, a testimony, a lighthouse to those still wandering in the dark. And I promise, if you keep following me, you will see things that eyes have not seen, hear things that ears have not heard, and live in ways you never imagined possible. The world may never fully understand the journey we've walked together, but you will. You'll know in your spirit that you walked with God, that when it was all said and done, you didn't just survive, you lived. So this is my final word in this moment, though not the final word in your story. I will continue speaking. I will continue leading. But let these words be etched into your heart for the road ahead. You are mine. You are ready. You are radiant. You are rising. And I go with you, always.
You've heard his voice, not as thunder in the skies, but as stillness in your spirit, not as pressure, but as peace. What happens next isn't about emotion, it's about movement, about walking forward, knowing that you are not alone, not forgotten, not unfinished. He goes with you, into your work, into your home, into your questions, into your tomorrow. So as you leave this moment, leave differently, walk lighter, stand taller, love deeper. And remember this wasn't the end of a video. It was the beginning of something holy, something eternal. And he's not done speaking.